Good morning and welcome to this week's edition of NCompass Live. I am your host, Krista Porter, here at the Nebraska Library Commission. NCompass Live is the Commission's weekly webinar series where we cover a variety of topics that may be of interest to libraries. We broadcast the show live every Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time, but if you're unable to join us on Wednesdays, that's fine. We do record the show as we are doing today, and it will be available for you to watch in our archives for you to watch later at your convenience. And I'll show you at the end of today's show where you can access all of our show archives right off of our main NCompass Live webpage. Both the live show and the recordings are free and open to anyone to watch. So please do share with your friends, family, neighbors, colleagues, anyone you think might be interested in any of the topics we have on the show. For those of you not from Nebraska, the Nebraska Library Commission is the state agency for libraries in Nebraska. So we are similar to whatever state library. So we provide training and databases and consulting and grants and resources to all types of libraries in the state. So you will find shows on NCompass Live for all types of libraries. Public, academic, K-12, corrections, museums, historical societies, archives. Really our only criteria is that it's something to do with libraries. And that's a big, broad topic, libraries. We bring in guest speakers from across Nebraska and actually from across the country to do presentations in NCompass Live sometimes. But we also have Nebraska Library Commission staff that do presentations for us. And that is what we are doing today. Joining me this morning is Sally Snyder. Good morning, Sally.
Good morning.
And she is our coordinator of children and young adult library services here at the Nebraska Library Commission. And she does some regular annual sessions for us. And this being one of them, today she is going to share titles of good books that she's found that might be useful to you if you are doing the collaborative summer library program theme for next year, 2026, Unearth a Story, which focuses on dinosaurs, archaeology, and paleontology. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Sally, to tell us all about what you have. And I know you're going to share something off our website first. So if people want to go and follow where she's going here, nlc.nebraska.gov, go there, and then you can find what she's going to send you to. So go ahead, Sally.
Thank you, Krista. So over here on our main website, there's a search box up at the top. And if you just type in handouts, hope I spell it right, the pressure, then the top thing is Nebraska Library Commission handouts. And I click on that, and these are all of the lists that I've ever put together, I think, in the history of my job here at the commission. But we talked about, it doesn't hurt to have them up there. So there's, if you go way down, you'll say, gosh, that was a while back. Yes, it was. But for today, at the top here, I had trouble deciding how to head this because, so it's 2025, 2026.
Crossover, yeah.
But this is my list for this session and for the workshops we'll have at the systems later on. And so here's my list. I love the artwork for this time. And this little guy here, he's called Digby. This is a little mascot kind of guy for the CSLP.
I love that they gave him a name this time, that he has a name, a cute name.
Sorry, what?
I love that he has a cute name.
Yes. At the bottom of your handout, it has another clip art of him, and it says, my name is Digby, just so you know. It'll be right there. So you can either print this off and follow along or print it off later and mark up what ones you want to get or that you already have or that you absolutely don't want that book, XX, that's okay. Because all of us have different books. You all have different libraries with different collections and different patrons and community. So you know your community much better than I do. So these are ones I've run across that I think would make good possibilities for you to consider. I don't expect anybody to buy even close to all of these books because nobody has that kind of budget. Unfortunately, I wish you all did. If I win the bajillion dollars, I'll see what I can do about that. But you know, I buy a lottery ticket every so often, not one yet. Anyway, so let's get on to our list, which is right here. And whoops, okay. the theme is, as Krista had said, Unearth a Story. And that's for next summer. And I always start with picture fiction books. I forgot to say, I do have my blurb sheet. People who know me know if I'm going to get through this list in a timely manner, we're going to go more than an hour, I bet you a nickel. Anyway, I keep to my blurb list because it tells me things I want to be sure to tell you, what I think is interesting or worthwhile about the book. And sometimes maybe there's a little problem, but I don't think it's enough of a problem to stop you from buying the book, and I'll tell you why. I don't think I have any of those on this list this time, but sometimes I do. And these are books that we have received at the Library Commission for courtesy of different book publishers. We don't pay anything for them. We receive them here. I go through them, pull out things that match this theme, or ones that are going to go on my best children's books list or best teen books list, which you'll hear about later maybe. And that's where I start. I also look at the library in town to see what they have that's new that fits the theme. And I look on the internet, different blogs that I go to find things that I might not have heard of yet, so I can really see what's good possibilities. Sometimes I even buy a book because I gotta have that book for the list.
We have some great local bookstores. There's Francie and Fidge is just across the street from us here in downtown Lincoln, and Sally's always popping over there to get something.
I'll get another book. I'm waiting for the library to be just down the hall. That'll be great too, the downtown library.
Yes.
That's going to be a little while though. Okay, so fiction picture books. And I also meant to say, I have these in basic categories, but I know and you know that children in a particular group read at different levels. So there might be a child that this book is perfect for that's either younger than that group I have it in or older than that group. That's okay. Reading is reading. Let kids read. That's the best way they can get better at it. And they can read what they're interested in because they're more likely to read the whole book. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's my speech. Moving right along. Those of you who saw my sessions on the Color Our World workshop, this Rainbowsaurus was in that because it was about colors, but it's also a dinosaur, so perfect. 2 fathers and 3 children begin to climb a rainbow and exclaim, "We're following a rainbow to find the Rainbowsaurus. We're following a rainbow. Would you like to join us?" And then individually and unusually colored animals join them, first 1, then 2, then 3 at a time, like a red cow, a yellow frog, a blue sheep. So they're not the standard colors, but there they are. You see them on the back of the Rainbowsaurus. And where are you? They ask after sliding down the other side. "I'm right behind you," he says, and standing under the rainbow, there is the colorful Rainbowsaurus. I think kids will love it, and they'll love coloring their own Rainbowsaurus. Maybe they'll make the stripes go the other way. They can do it however they want. A young Diplodocus has spent the first few months after hatching hiding in the forest. Now it is time to find a herd to travel with. She sees many new things and animals, and some are dangerous. She feels quite small in a herd of Brachiosaurus, but she still finds things to eat. She finds her herd just as an Allosaurus spots her. No worries, an adult snaps its tail at the Allosaurus and he leaves. 1 or 2 sentences per 2-page spread. Many scenes have 1 or 2 much smaller creatures hiding nearby. Listeners will be eager to spot, where's the other animals in this picture? And what are they? I don't know. They don't tell you. Who wants to have a Tyrannosaurus Rex looking around the side of the house at you? Jake is excited. It is his birthday and he's having his best friends over to celebrate with a dino-themed sleepover. All 3 friends have the flu and the party will have to be postponed. Disappointed, Jake goes to bed. In the middle of the night, he hears a strange snort and he goes to the stairs. There are 3 dinosaurs sitting on the couch eating snacks and watching TV. They said, "We heard you were having a dinosaur party, so here we are." They went outside when there were 3 more larger dinosaurs waiting. They all said, "Don't tell T-Rex, don't tell them." Jake and 6 dinosaurs went to each of his friends' houses so all could enjoy seeing them, and next they went through the park and began to play soccer. They see T-Rex over to the side by the trees. The others are afraid, but Jake thinks she looks pretty friendly and asks her to play goalie. She says, "I never get invited anywhere." So she's very touched. and they all play together and have a great time. And home again, a tired Jake goes into his tent, and the dinosaurs snuggle down in the yard. This is hilarious. It is so fun. Same author. Lena lives on a farm with other chickens, but Lena knows deep down inside that she is a dinosaur. The other chickens get excited and frightened at the silliest things: a frog, a kitten, an empty box. Well, how is that scary, she thinks. She's appalled by their behavior, but they keep telling her to try thinking small, and if you have low expectations, you'll never be disappointed. She disagrees. When the farmer and his family come to gather the eggs, Lena attacks them and drives them off, protecting those eggs. One day, a weasel arrives on the edge of the farm. They can just see him over there. And the other hens all go crazy. They're bucking and running around because they know he's going to eat them. Each day, he comes closer to the hen house until the day the family left for the evening. They lock the chickens in the coop, and the weasel has a pry, and he's breaking in. Lena gathered herself and gave the loudest sound she ever had. Quack! It shook the hen house and trapped the weasel by the nose. He fought loose and ran off. The hens celebrated, and soon Lena was teaching them how to chase, make a big noise, and stick together. When the girl Madeline comes home from school with a book noting that chickens are dinosaurs, the hens are amazed that they are just like Lena. And there's an author's note at the back of the book that explains about how scientists believe that current day birds are descended from a group of the dinosaurs. But Lena is so frustrated with her hen house mates. That's very fun. A completely different approach. The narrator's school has nothing, some chairs, a teacher. It is in the middle of nowhere. Today, the teacher says their lesson is to draw outdoors. She points out the brontosaurus by the river, the triceratops on a big rock, and a stegosaurus by some big stones. They must be very quiet when the tyrannosaurus comes by. Some of the children run away. At the end of the day, the children walk home with many dinosaurs walking through the valley. It's a wonderful use of imagination for the children who are looking to what they might draw out there where they're seeing their woods and everything. Mm-hmm. Dot has a pet tortoise named Monty. It is her first day at a new school, and she is hoping to make some friends. They are discussing pets. Jude has a tortoise too, but then Jess says those are old and slow and they're not interesting. So Dot says she has a tortosaurus, and everyone is intrigued. Dot pulls together several things to convince the class that Monty is a tortosaurus. She puts triangular paper spikes on his back, uses socks to put claws on his feet, and strings a horn on his head. Looks good. After being famous for a while at school, Monty is stressed and tired. Finally, Monty shakes off all of his costume and once again is a tortoise. Dot apologizes to him and makes friends with Jude and his tortoise. Much better. This is a series of 3 books by Angela Dominguez. This is the first one, book number 1. The dinosaur, her name is Lolo, speaks in Spanish in orange type on the page, and Birdie speaks in English in blue type on each page, and translate what Lolo said in his reply in English. The bird happens along and asks the dinosaur, what is wrong? She says she is hungry. Tengo hambre. He tries different ideas of things Lolo could eat, but she always says no. Finally, he asks her what she would like to eat. Un pájaro azul, a blue bird. No! Birdie says cookies, galetas are much better, and Lola agrees. It's silly fun. Book 2 is I'm not sleepy, no tengo sueño. Lola is not sleepy and continues to play with things and ignore Birdie. Birdie is tired and wants to go to sleep. Finally, Birdie stops trying to talk Lola into going to sleep and falls asleep himself and leaves her by herself. I want more, quiero más. Birdie shows Lolo a pretty flower from his garden, and Lolo wants more, more, more. This is about good friends, enjoying life, and sharing joys. A number of you might already have this book because it was a 24-25 Golden Sower nominee and is now one of 2 Little Blue Stem honor books. So it might already be in your collection, so you're a step ahead there. A mom, dad, and over-enthusiastic boy enter the museum. The father claims to know why dinosaurs went extinct, and the following 2-page spread makes it clear. Gallimimus ran with scissors. Ankylosaurus tipped their chair back over a cliff. Tyrannosaurus rex didn't change their underwear. Monoicus poked an outlet. Diplodocus didn't chew their food, and more, for a total of 22 dinosaurs in there. All kinds of interesting things that they did or didn't do that ended up with extinction. Very silly. A blue whale and a supersource argue about who is longer. On one page, they each make claims that cannot be compared to each other, such as, I'm as long as 3 school buses. Well, I'm as long as 110 starfish. Which is longer, they don't know. So an inchworm suggests he measure them. But when he finishes measuring the whale, 12 hours later, he announces to the whale that the whale is 1,300 inches long, but now he has to go into his cocoon for 2 months, so he can't measure the other one. A centipede offers to measure the supersource in centimeters. You see where this is going, right? Supersource is 3,302 centimeters long, but inches and centimeters are different. But here comes a dragonfly who knows that math will answer the question. Multiply the inches by 2.54 to get the number of centimeters. The results? They are both 3,302 centimeters long. In this case, they tie. Humorous jabs between the two contestants throughout the book will appeal to readers who will enjoy the fact that they are the same length. Penny and her class visit the Natural History Museum, and here Penny sees a display with dinosaur eggs, and one hatches. The little dinosaur says, pip, pip, and so Penny decides that's his name. He follows her through the museum, and then Penny has a clever idea of a way she can take him home and not get in trouble. A Neanderthal boy and his family clan have traveled to a cave they know. Most are tired and resting, but the boy goes to explore the land. He finds some berries, and along with a bear he thinks of as a big growler. He encounters some other animals like mammoths, and then comes to a stream. There he sees another boy on the other side of the stream, a Homo sapiens boy. They look at each other, and then the Homo sapiens boy's family comes by to take him on with them. That night, the Neanderthal boy finds ash on his hands, puts it on his hand, and places it on the cave wall, leaving a mark. It's a look at how people may have lived thousands of years ago. This is part of the Field Trip Adventures series. They are wordless picture books. The class takes the time machine bus to see dinosaurs in real life. One student has their lunchbox stolen by a pteranodon. It took it off the ledge of the walking time machine, and they fall to the ground while retrieving it. Nothing to do but eat lunch and wait. One by one, some herbivores show up, interested in the lunch. He shares what they have, and then a meat eater arrives, so run! Thankfully, the pteranodon returns and carries them to safety, landing right in the path of the time machine. Whew, time to go home. And you see that lunch pail, the blue lunch pail with the Tyrannosaurus on it. That's the one that gets left behind. Oh, this is fun. Let me see. All right. It's a color-changing bath book. White splotches are on the pages. Get the book wet and the dinosaurs appear. It's unexpected fun. Not too much of a story, but something to do if you don't mind a little water in the library, or you can do it outside for the little ones to change the pictures in the story. They're just splotches at first. I was going to test it out this morning, and now I can't find where I put the book. Yeah. That's how things go. Using rhyming text, dinosaurs come to town to celebrate Dinosaur Day. Some may chomp a tree branch or two, and some may jump into your pool, but everyone has a good time. The T-Rex wants a different snack, and the boy riding on his tail starts to look worried. All he wants is lava cake. Everything's fine. Baby dinos hatch out of eggs and join the fun. At the end of the day, all the dinos settle down to sleep in backyards or on the playground. Santiago was worried about being the new boy in a new school, in a new town, in a new country, and he doesn't understand English, yet anyway. After being introduced by the teacher, he joins other kids in activities in the room, but speaks very little. At recess after lunch, a couple of kids roar at him and announce they are a Spinosaurus and a T-Rex. He roars, Velociraptor, and chases them. A new language is found. They speak dinosaur. Occasional sentences are in Spanish, but they are translated on the same page. Bright, colorful illustrations cover the pages with 2-word text on each page. Oh, it opens with dinosaurs roar, dinosaurs squeak, dinosaur fierce, dinosaur meek. See the little one up there in the corner with the big Tyrannosaurus. Did you know that dinosaurs can go into space? Well, maybe. This story is centered around the idea that when the asteroid hit the Earth, eventually ending the dinosaurs, the impact tossed dirt and matter into space. Some could have ended up on the moon. It was such a strong impact. Bits of dinosaur bone could be there now. Dinosaurs listening to the book are eager to visit the moon to meet their space dinosaur relatives. When told that nothing is living on the moon, there are only bones there, the dinosaurs again misunderstand and cry out, "Zombie dinosaurs! Let's go see them." The narrator stepped in again to correct the misunderstanding. The dinosaurs clarify what's really said. This is a summary of the book. And the relieved narrator replies, "I'm glad we cleared that up. I was afraid you would start thinking there were microraptors on Mars." They reply, "Did you say Martian dinosaurs?" Facts inside of silliness, bright colors add to the pages. The final 4 pages revisit the facts we know about dinosaurs right now. This is part of a series, and I just saw on somebody's list for a youth grant that a new tiny T-Rex is coming out next year, so yay. Tiny's best friend, Pointy, is a Stegosaurus. He wants to be in the talent show at school, but isn't sure he has talent. Tiny supports him, and they decide to emulate their favorite magician, the amazing Presto. They practice. Abracadabra is a little hard to say, so they go with ta-da! On show day, Pointy has stage fright and cannot go on, so Tiny carries their trick, though stage fright is hitting him too, and Pointy gets brave and joins him at the end. This is the newest in the series at the point I wrote this, that was 2023. There were at least 4 titles altogether, but now there's another one coming out next year. Tiny T-Rex Tries Soccer, I think is the name of that one, if you want to know. And look, something about a mammoth, yay! Wally the woolly mammoth and his 2 friends, Wolf and Otto, are going to be in a sled race. Wolf and Otto both want to win. Wally wants them to be happy, so he says, "I hope you both win." Listeners will enjoy how the race goes. Do you think they can predict who will win? One action I found fun is only in the illustrations. Otto shows up with 3 cups of, hot chocolate maybe? Something like that. Mm-hmm. And seeing one or another of them sipping the drink while zooming down the slopes is hilarious. And yes, there does end up being a big snowball with a couple of them in it, and they slowly lose their hot chocolate. But it's just fun to see things that aren't referred to in the text. This is a good book for toddler time with large, colorful illustrations. Smalosaurus has just spotted some sweet and juicy ferns, just what she wanted. But the large rock next to them is not a rock. It is a great big badasaurus who wants to eat her. She thinks, then she runs. He chases her and falls off a cliff. Okay, she finds the furs again by a tree. Badasaurus is back, a little bruised. She thinks again and hides behind the tree. Badasaurus bites the tree, but it isn't a tree. It is an even larger Worsasaurus. Who would like to eat either of them? Who will survive? That's how it sometimes was when dinosaurs walked the earth. Very silly story. But this is a series. I picked the 2 most recent ones. Dinos have birthdays, starting with autumn. One dinosaur celebrates their birthday with favorite seasonal activities. T-Rex, Myosaurus, Triceratops, and the pterodactyl twins each celebrate their season, autumn, winter, spring, and summer. All are full of activities and happy dinosaurs. And then you see the Dino Birthday. Oh, I did that wrong. That was Dino Birthday. I'm sorry, Dino Earth Day. Backing up. I read the wrong one. It's part of the Dino Holiday series. It's told in rhyming text, and the dinosaurs work together to clean up the land and recycle what they can. And it closes with, then say hello to Dino Birthday, which is the next one to be published. And then you have Dino Birthday. Sorry about that. A young girl has lost her dinosaur. She just washed the mud off of him, and now she cannot see him. She tries setting out his favorite snack, peanut butter and jelly sandwich, brought out lots of other animals who were happy to eat those up. She put out lost dinosaur posters, but she doesn't have a picture of him because he's invisible. There is no rain or snow today to help, but Dandelion dandelion fluff flying by through the air does help. He is going to need another bath, though. So we'll see what happens after that. Picture book nonfiction. This introduces the history of the Earth starting with an Asian child imagining life, specifically dinosaurs, in their land from long ago, just looking and imagining them walking through the land. Then the narrator briefly introduces the beginning of the Earth, the formation of the moon, and the beginning of life. Large, colorful illustrations capture these events and share the beauty of the Earth with the readers. On a whole different note, this is part of a series that he's written about different dinosaurs and other animals fighting each other. In this book, 16 pterosaurs go into a bracket to determine which one of them would win the ultimate rumble. Some pairings are declared unfair since one is quite larger than the other. Still, they rumble. Prior to each round, which takes 2 pages each, a basic comparison of each contestant's features and drawbacks, if any, are noted. This is an introduction to 16 pterosaurs with the added appeal of confrontation. It is noted there in this book that pterosaurs are not dinosaurs, but they certainly are prehistoric animals. The subtitle is How Paleontologists Unearthed a City's Prehistoric Past. An introduction to the La Brea tar pits, how they formed and how they trapped many animals throughout thousands of years. Stylized art portrays prehistoric animals and shows the accumulation of bones below the surface. Once scientists discovered the fossils, excavations were soon underway. There's good basic information for young readers who will be amazed that people can go to Los Angeles and see some of the tar pits with tar still oozing up, still capturing animals. 6 pages of text at the back titled La Brea Tidbits gives additional information. Now we have some beginning readers. Step into reading level 2, short sentences, a few to a page. Ava loves rocks. She loves big rocks. She loves small rocks. Most of all, she wants to find a fossil. She digs in unlikely places such as her own backyard and the beach. On the way home from the beach, there is a sign, Fossil Park. Maybe she can find a fossil there, and she looks, everybody looks. Everybody finds a fossil except her. She finds this little rock, though, and it's pretty nice, so she picks it up and puts it in her bucket. And then, when she's walking by the big poster about what kind of fossils are there, she discovers that she did find a fossil, shark poop fossil. So what could be better than that one? This is Dinosaur Friends as part of the Dinosaur Roar series. This is a level 1. It's written in collaboration with the Smithsonian Institution.
Nice.
Basically an introduction of the main dinosaurs included in the series. They are going to explore a rainforest on their island. Dinosaur Roar is a T-Rex. Dinosaur Bash is an Ankylosaurus, and so on. Basic short sentences will appeal to readers. Also from this same world, Squeak, a young Compsognathus, explores the world, seeing flowers, a line of ants, and a log he can walk through. Then she sees her friend, Dinosaur Munch, a Diplodocus. This book says to pronounce it Diplodocus. That's the British pronunciation, according to the YouTube reading I saw. Another book says Diplodocus, so go with what you think is right. This is Yasmin's friend. Ollie has his own book series starting with this book, number 1. He is also a Pakistani American, and Ollie and his class are visiting the Natural History Museum. He really wants to see the dinosaurs, and he announces that he knows all about them. After seeing mummies, then minerals and gems, facts about the human body, they finally get to see the dinosaurs. It turns out Ollie did not know much of anything about dinosaurs, and he's embarrassed. But their guide, Taylor, told him, it's okay to get things wrong. Scientists often make mistakes, but they learn from them and do better next time. That's a good lesson for all. It also includes a list of 7 Urdu words at the beginning of the book: mother, father, brother, grandfather, grandmother, hello, and thank you, and some dino facts and a few jokes at the back of the book. A Theodore Seuss Geisel honor book in 2022 told in rhyming text, a boy after his bath and wearing his dinosaur bathrobe declares that no clothing can fit a dinosaur. As he romps around, we see him as a dinosaur in the mirror and in his shadow. Then we see him as a dinosaur and as a boy only in the mirror. Lastly, Mamasaurus roars at him and he decides to find some clothes that fit. Stay in trouble. Another book by the same author, also told in rhyming text. This is a follow-up to the previous book. Has the same boy brushing his teeth, being tucked into bed, and he hears strange noises. He jumps up and declares, "Nothing scares a dinosaur." Once again, the boy's shadow shows him as a T-Rex, and soon he appears as a T-Rex, frightening the monsters, the stuffed toy and the kitty cat, who all tried to scare him. Lastly, Mommy Saurus roars at him again, and he decides to say goodnight. On a different note by the same author, there are no rhymes in this one. A bug is enthusiastic about his snack, a cupcake. Asks Trilobite if he wants a taste, but the Trilobite only eats noodles. Finally, Trilobite takes a tiny bite. Then he eats the rest of the cupcake. It is so good, it is better than noodles. No worries though, if the bug is hungry, Trilobite has lots of noodles for him. No mention is made about the trilobites being from the early Cambrian period, and many fossils have been found, but dinosaur enthusiasts will recognize the name and know this is a dinosaur, or, well, a prehistoric creature. Yes, the Paw Patrol gets into the action. They are called to action to help save the eggs in Dino Land. Someone is stealing them, and it is up to the pups to stop them and get the eggs back to their parents. This is a level 2 step into reading title and has short sentences with standard words for beginning readers. I've watched a couple of Paw Patrol shows on TV, but I didn't know about Dino Land until I saw this book. Some early chapter book. Oh, there's only one, but it's fun. It's a great Tom Engelberger. It's graphic novel format with torn paper and art. Coelophysis has a notebook and a pen, and he is writing poetry. If only the meat eaters would leave him alone so he could be inspired and write. They are gnashing and roaring and sometimes chasing him. He tries to eat a frog, and the frog insults his rhyme. It's lazy to rhyme eat with meat. You can do better. They go off together to see the wide, wild world in order to write better poems. Throughout the story, the frog gives good lessons on writing poetry without being too instructive. They are often interrupted by a T-Rex and others that chase them. It is silly fun, including the pen tree where Coelophysis replaces his lost pen. I don't know if there were pen trees. I wasn't there back then, so we just trust Tom to know what he's talking about. Some fiction for grades 2 to 6, around that, 2 to 5. This is my favorite book. Okay, I loved this book as a kid. This book was first published in 1956. Yes, wow. It's on my list anyway, because I loved it as a kid. I just reread the book and it holds up. It holds up well, aside from the dinosaur expert giving facts which are now not completely embraced by scientists. The idea, the thought that dinosaurs were cold-blooded reptiles that move slowly, well, it's not true of all of them. It contains what we would call good family values from the 50s. Mom says, there's no reason to give up going to church just because we got a dinosaur out back. Get a move on. That's Mom. And I have to say, there's this illustration. These are not the illustrations I had in the book when I was a kid, but they show us a hen lays a big egg, an enormous egg, and they show a picture of the egg with the hen on it. Okay, the egg and the hen on it. As a kid, I didn't pay any attention to that. It laid an egg. Egg hatches a dinosaur, a triceratops. Okay, you look at that picture, go, oh my, I don't know how that could happen. But that's an adult approach, and kids will like it. This is a full-color graphic novel. It's set in a Western land where people ride dinosaurs. There are a few of those on my list here. Abigail, the sarsaparilla kid, is a vigilante hoping to be hired as a legitimate deputy. She must team up with the sheriff's daughter and the legitimate deputy of Little Spittle to recapture the Scugg brothers, their sister and mastermind, the Bandit Queen, as well as the stone and crystal heart that has magical properties. As they work together, they begin to appreciate and understand each other. But will the Bandit Queen win out over all their efforts? It concludes with a setup for a potential next book. So maybe more things are going to be happening in Little Spittle. Great name. Oh, yes. This is part of the Fun Jungle series. This is book 6. I haven't read any of the other Fun Jungle series, but you can read this, and he does enough updating so you kind of know what's been going on. Teddy Fitzroy is 13, and he has already solved several mysteries at or near Fun Jungle. It is a combination zoo and theme park in Texas where his parents work. Today, Teddy and his friends Xavier and Sage were planning to spend the day enjoying Fun Jungle when Sage got a phone call from his mother and learned that the T-Rex skull being excavated from their ranch mysteriously disappeared overnight during a bad rainstorm. Now, it weighed around 500 pounds and was kept top secret. Sage asked Teddy to solve the mystery and find the skull. On a side note, Teddy got a call from the Barksdale twins asking for his help in getting their cat out of their new pet, an anaconda. Well, there's just no way you can do that. Things are piling up on Teddy. I love that cover. Another book 6 in a series. This is the Dog Diary series. Junior, the narrator and main character, is a dog of intelligence and bravery. At least that's what he would tell you. He is determined to bring his group of doggy friends from the dog park to infiltrate the museum in order to crunch on those enormous dinosaur bones. You can't believe the gigantic bones in the museum. There are some setbacks for him and his crew, but with the help of his nemesis, Duchess, it can be done. It's silly with plenty of doggy terms, such as calling the reader his person pal and his owner Ruff. His name is Rafe, but he calls him Ruff. Like I said, I haven't read any of the others in this series, but readers can do the same. Just read this one and it'd be just fine. But they'll probably want more copies of the first books. They pay attention. I love this book too. It was on my list a few years ago. I love the cover. That's got to bring in some readers. The Knights of the Round Table have been making up stories and of their more recent adventures, since dragons and dark knights are few and far between. So they'll say, oh yeah, I fought 6 dragons last week. Well, they didn't, but they didn't want to admit they didn't do much of anything. So to teach them a lesson, Merlin sends them back in time to face dinosaurs. And they have their work cut out for them. It's humorous with some danger, and plenty of illustrations will appeal to the readers. Knights versus Monsters is a sequel if you want to know that. This is the first book. I have the first 3 books of the Dinosaur Club series. I think there are at least 5 books in the series. Jamie and his mom have just moved to Ammonite Bay to live in an old lighthouse with his grandfather. He hurries down to the beach, having been told it is the place to look for fossils. Tess Clay joins him on the beach and offers to show him something special. It turns out there is a cave near the beach, and when they go up in there, they walk in some dinosaur footprints and end up traveling back to dinosaur times. In this first adventure, they find a young Waynosaurus to befriend, but soon they are trying to escape a T-Rex. There are more adventures in this series. The second book is about a herd of Triceratops. And the third book, in this adventure, they end up in the Jurassic period instead of the Cretaceous. Turns out it depends on which ammonite Tess has in her pocket when they walk through the special area. A Stegosaurus egg floated out of its nest due to rain. Jamie and Tess rescue it and return it to the nest, where the mama is suspicious. What are you doing with that egg? But then the egg begins to hatch. And like I said, there are at least 5 books in this series, and they're all fun. And going through time to real dinosaur world would be exciting and fun and scary. Oh, these are hilarious. Sorry. Black and white graphic novel. This is book 1. And I always have to say the title of this book is We're All Gonna Dinosaur. Great title. Well, they are pterodactyls. Terry, his name is spelled P-T-R-R-Y, like P-T for pterodactyl. He has not yet learned to fly, so his parents' assurance that there's no danger we can't fly away from is rather disappointing. His parents leave for the evening, going to the observatory. Terry is to take care of his younger brother Todd, spelled P-T-O-D-D, who is an egg with legs. You can see him hanging down from his feet there in the picture. Terry has had nightmares, and it's hard for him to let go of the fear they caused. He decides to try flying again, but Todd followed him, and now they are bouncing from one danger to another, barely surviving. Todd is having a great time. Terry is not. Will they make it safely home? This is book 1, remember, because here's book 2. Things have been good when unexpectedly Terry begins to have nightmares again, this time about big, hairy creatures. Oh yes, and it's also the first day of a new school for him. More hilarious adventures await him and his new friends. Some nonfiction for grades 2 to 5 or so. Now, I know you can all find lots of nonfiction books in your collections, but if you're looking for some something else to add. Here are some ideas. This was on my list for the Color Our World, but you can see it's all things big and small. You see the small in the foreground, but in the background you see the dinosaur. There are some dinosaurs in this book, and these are designed for numbered steps for children to follow to draw like this, the Triceratops there. They can draw it like that, but it's a lot of fun. And the second one is shorter. The first book has 64 pages, but only part of it is dinosaurs. This is all dinosaurs, but it's only a 32-page book, but it does have quite a few favorite dinosaurs in it. Let's see. I didn't count them, sorry. Born in May of 1799, Mary Anning spent her life hunting fossils. It was her key to an independent, self-supporting life. Her skills developed while working with her father, who died when she was 11. The family was in debt, so Mary took her tools to the beach to hunt for fossils to help support her family. She sold them to visitors, to collectors for their curiosity cabinets, and some to geologists who examined them to try and learn about the animals that lived so long ago. It was hard, dangerous work, and Mary did not receive much recognition of her contributions to science at that time. But as time went by, she's gotten much more recognition, which she definitely deserves. She did find the first, wait a minute, the world's first squaloraja. It says on page 59, which I don't know what that is. I should have looked it up. But she found the first one ever in the world. This is slightly different from your usual thoughts of 5-minute stories because it's narrative nonfiction primarily. It will appeal to young readers who can choose the chapter they want to read first. Growing Up Dinosaur, Digging for Fossils, How to Speak Dino, and there are 12 chapters altogether. And the chapters tell what we know now or think we know about dinosaurs. So they're nonfiction stories. I assume the colorful illustrations were provided by National Geographic staff, as I can only find credits for the photos used in the books. When they're talking about digging up dinosaurs and such, they have photos of actual paleontologists doing just that. So again, it's something where you have a short chapter that you can read one each evening to the child, or they can read themselves. This was really fascinating. Now, there are 69 animals included in this book, though the last chapter notes a few who made it against the odds. It includes 36 entries on dinosaurs and prehistoric creatures like mammoths and giant sloths. There are also more modern animals such as passenger pigeons, Tasmanian wolf, Irish elk, and more. So you have to kind of pick and choose to find the dinosaurs in here, but it's a fascinating look at lots and lots of animals have gone extinct. It includes birds, fish, and insects too. Each 2-page spread focuses on one animal that became extinct, noting possible reasons why. It introduces 2 well-respected paleontologists who met in 1862 and became friends. When one teased the other for a mistake he made, it started a battle for who could find the most fossils, and that became a bitter battle between them. Dinosaurs were all the rage at this time, and people wanted to see and learn about more and more new species. Spying, cheating, using codes, and planting fossils in the wrong spot were some of the bad behavior they used. Still, O.C. Marsh is credited with discovering about 80 new species of dinosaurs, and Edward Cope uncovered 56 new species, a win for those interested in learning and seeing more. This is a graphic novel style of nonfiction. The text is copyrighted 2000, but the illustrations are copyrighted 2025. Good basic information within colorful graphic novel panels. Magic Treehouse readers aren't the only kids who will grab up this if it's on display. Chapters include fossils, dinosaur hunters, flesh eaters, plant eaters, and more. And there's also a science comics book, graphic novel format of nonfiction, covers the history of the geology of the world, the discovery of dinosaur bones, and the changes in what we believe they were and how we believe they lived. Rivalries between scientists and between fossil hunters is included. It would be a good complement title to the other books on this list. And of course, graphic novel format is very popular. Wait a minute. I gave up too soon. The subtitle is Amazing Breakthroughs, Mega Mistakes, and Unsolved Mysteries in Dinosaur Science. Hosts of the I Know Dino podcast, which I haven't looked for or found yet. I really should do that. It brings nonfiction to life with their approach to sharing information. Provides the history of dinosaur discovery from the 1820s to today, and acknowledging that people earlier did find fossils and speculated on what creatures they could have been, which is what we think started the rumor about dragons, because they found these big bones, so they figured this was a big animal. Each chapter highlights a different period of dinosaur paleontology, and each period builds upon the previous one. A number of dinosaurs have their own two-page spread sharing information, including first impressions, which often were wrong, and what we know now is usually on the second page, correcting the previous assertions. Lots of illustrations make this one great for browsers. This book was on my Color Our World list too, because it's about the artist's depiction of dinosaurs. From the front end papers, ever since a set of mysterious bones was unearthed in 1822, scientists and artists have struggled to depict the creatures it came from. But new information is continually discovered, and the art must change again. So this is all about the iguanodon and how the artist's conception of the creature changed each time the scientists learned something new. So the creature on the left side of the screen is the first idea of what it looked like, and the creature on the right is a more recent idea of what it looked like. This is all about the iguanodon, and one of the things that they learned about it was that it did not have a horn on its nose like they thought. It actually had a spike on each thumb. So had it wrong again. This is a colorful, active book. It's great for browsing. Cartoon-like illustrations dominate the pages, but there is plenty of information in this book. Sections include the story of Earth with 4 short chapters, fossils with 8 short chapters, dinosaurs with 15 short chapters, what happened to the dinosaurs, 5 chapters, other prehistoric creatures with 7 chapters. And it includes a glossary, bibliography, and recommended reading, recommended listening, which has QR codes to access their podcasts, Wow in the World, that have to do with dinosaurs. So I haven't tried that yet, but I'm going to figure out how to do that with some help. It has source notes and an index, but it's a lot of action and a lot of fun. This is a picture book for older readers that tells again of the entrapment of many prehistoric animals in the Pittwa Tar in California. Ground sloths and mastodons, along with saber-toothed cats and dire wolves, were the larger animals trapped. Birds, insects, and plants were also found in the pits. Additional information at the back of the book notes that the tar pits are the only active urban excavation site with more Ice Age fossils than any other location. And the millions of fossils discovered reveal more than 600 different Ice Age species of plants and animals. So that's pretty incredible. I like the artwork for the other book better. That's just my personal preference. But this also conveys the idea of the animals getting stuck. Like if a mammoth got stuck in there, along comes the dire wolves and the saber-toothed cat to try and eat it, but they got stuck too. And so those who aren't familiar with the La Brea tar pits will learn a lot about what happened there. I do have a few teen titles.
Yeah, I know you said you had a little more trouble finding ones for older.
Yes. I think most people think of dinosaurs as kids' stories, but when you throw in paleontology and archaeology,
yeah,
there could be more. But the Prancy and Finch across the street, one of their clerks told me about a series you'll hear about in just a couple of minutes, which I had never heard of. Who knew? And I am a dinosaur fan from the time I was like 4. So I don't know how I didn't hear about some of these, but that's how things are, isn't it?
You can't read everything.
Can't find everything and can't read everything. So I like to sleep, as I like to say. I do like my sleep. So this is a book that just recently came out. Get it here. Okay. It's not time to panic. I'm just going ahead. I know this one. Cincinnati Lee has a great grandfather who is living in Cincinnati, which is why she took the name Cincinnati. She lives in New York, and she is all about archaeology. He was an archaeologist, and he went around to all different kinds of places in the world, found relics, brought them back to the museum, and at that time he thought of it as saving, protecting the relics. But now the idea is that things belong where they came from, not somewhere else. And she thinks that he must have like 137, no, he's 137 years old, but he's got a whole bunch of curses on him if he brought back more than 300 artifacts. There's got to be a lot of curses on him. So she decides she's going to break the curses. He's living in a nursing home, pretty much being kept in a coma because he's way too hard to control when he's alert. And she thinks if she breaks these curses, he'll be okay, and she and he can go on adventures. The reason he's 137 years old is because he did encounter the fountain of youth. I can't remember if he drank or anyway, but that's the idea. So there's a little bit of magic realism or something else we want to call it that in here. But the first thing she's going to do is take the Chojo Pius idol that is in the museum her mother works for and return it to the two people from Peru who had come to ask the museum to give it back, and the museum had refused. So she breaks in sort of sneaks the idol out, but she's thwarted by her nemesis Sebastian, who steals it from her when she's not looking, and her two friends, Parsley, the girl on the left, and Felix, the boy on the right. Parsley's a new friend. Felix is her longtime friend. He fabricates copies of things for her. So he made the Chojo Pius, Cha Pius, I can't remember, idol for her to replace the one on display. And he also does not passports, but other paperwork when she needs it. So, like signing things to say her mom signed them. And they have quite the adventures. It turns out that she finds out about the Spear of Destiny, and there's this map that shows where it is. And if she thinks, if I can get the Spear of Destiny, then I can, just with one wish, take care of all the curses that are on my grandfather, and then he'll be okay. Well, the Spear of Destiny is pretty powerful, and you don't want to mess with it. But they go through these different adventures, and her friends are supportive of her, but she realizes she hasn't learned how to be a good friend, because she basically throws her new friend Parsley to the wolves twice, and Parsley doesn't really want to have a lot to do with her part of the time because she hasn't shown that she cares about anybody but herself. Parsley sees it as she's doing this for herself more than for her grandfather. So there's some of that in there. But they do end up finding the Spear of Destiny, and it is pretty powerful. And you just really have a sense that this story hasn't ended. It's based on Indiana Jones, as you can see, with her fedora and her bag around her shoulder and the things that she's doing. But it's a lot of fun, and does have the idea of repatriating artifacts to the places they belong, where they came from, because there's no reason not to anymore. They're not being protected anymore. And I think that's a very important message that a couple of reviewers thought that message didn't come through as well, because Parsley was more about breaking the curse. Yeah, but I thought that message came through pretty good. That's my opinion.
Cool.
Everybody's entitled to their opinions. So here comes the series that I'm going to talk about. How did I not know about Dinosaur Sanctuary? I can't explain it. It's like black and white manga. There are 7 titles in this series so far. I have 4 of them on my list. I've read the 4. It's set in Japan, and the premise is that live dinosaurs were found on a remote island. So through breeding and genetic applications, dinosaurs were multiplied, and now they're kept in zoos to attract visitors. Then one day, a certain terrible incident occurred, and at that point, dinosaur zoos fell on hard times. You don't learn about what this incident was until I think it's book 3, and it wasn't as terrible as I thought it was going to be, but it was pretty bad. And so people don't go to the zoo so much anymore. Suma Suzume is the new rookie dino keeper. She's the one on the cover of the Dinosaur Sanctuary #1. She begins her apprenticeship at Enoshima Dino Land. Over the course of the 4 books I read, Suma learns about Dino Land by assisting in different areas that care for different types of dinosaurs. It's a great introduction for her and for the reader. Different dinosaurs have different needs along with their individual situations. Book 1 says they have 72 dinosaurs of 24 species. There are also issues that affect all of Dino Land, like not enough staff, not enough money, and how to appeal to the public and bring in more visitors is an ongoing issue for them. And in one of the books, I think it's book 3, the dinosaur does escape and they have to find it and get it back before it hurts anybody by accident. But one of the things I found interesting in this series so far is that even the T-Rex, who is older and, not going to be hanging around much longer, it's not like Jurassic Park. The dinos are pretty docile. They're not being fed stuff to make them docile. They're just, used to captivity and used to being fed what they're fed. And so there is danger because they are big and they have ways to hurt people, but you don't have to worry about being attacked by the Tyrannosaurus Rex if you walk into its area, probably. Like I said, I've only read 4. The other 3 I haven't been seen yet. So this book 1 and 2, and here's 3 and 4.
I like how it says the research consultant. Shinichi Fujiwara. I'm trying to read that. Yeah, I was looking it up. Is an actual PhD professor. So that's kind of cool.
Yes, it is cool. And that's kind of in the back of the book. These are manga, so you start at what we call the back of the book and they call the front of the book, and you read it that way. It's black and white art, like I said, but they're good stories, and the personalities of the keepers that she's meeting and working with, and the personalities of the dinosaurs that are there is a lot of fun. So I think this will be popular, and manga is pretty popular too for those who are used to reading it the other way.
Of course.
I have 1 nonfiction for teens. The history of dinosaurs and the history of finding facts about them. The process used is demonstrated here in seeking to learn what, if anything, caused a sudden or was a gradual decline of the Cretaceous dinosaurs. Lewis and Walter Alvarez, father and son, worked individually and sometimes together on this question. They spent years looking at strata of cliffs in different places, noting a layer of nothing with iridium present, and seeing, yes, this has it too, and all around the world. This indicated a world event. It uses occasional non-fiction sections to show some of the things that they discovered. It's a total of 5 of those spread out through the book. Kirkus says, packed with explanations of scientific terminology and methods of operation, this detailed and compelling book is a superb guide for curious STEM-focused readers, an outstanding resource. It includes an index and extensive sources, including references to the quotes included in the book. And these are the 2 who finally found enough proof for other scientists to agree that a big meteor did hit the Earth right in that area near Mexico. There's a name from that I didn't write down because I can't pronounce it. And and these are the 2 men who found, over years it took them to find evidence of this throughout the world. Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And I have 1 fiction book for older teens, Archaeology. Margot found a journal from 1932 in the school library. It is of a young man who disappeared on an excavation or dig in Pompeii, searching for the legendary base of Venus Aurelia. So she quickly joins the high school archaeology trip to Pompeii, thinking with Van Keen's journal, she will find it herself. Sure, shouldn't be hard. She also found a pottery shard behind the journal, and she brought that along too. She sneaks out at night and goes to search for the vase, finding a hidden room with a statue that surprisingly comes to life. Oh. It is Van Keen himself who wants to leave her out of it and continue his search. But he knows nothing of life in the 20-25 years and needs her help to avoid discovery. There's some romance, some bickering, some life-threatening danger. Venus was not kidding around, and supernatural occurrences will appeal to teen readers. And I say this kind of has a Harlequin romance aspect to it, but it's still a fun adventure, and you really root for the two of them to find what they're looking for. Now, that's all of my main list, but if we have time, Krista, I do have some older series and titles we could go through.
Yeah, I'll just jump in and say, yeah, it's a little after 11 Central Time, 11 a.m. Central Time. But these sessions that Sally does usually do end up running a little long because there's just so many good books out there for her to share. So if you only allotted an hour to watch today, that's fine. We don't mind if you go ahead and have to log off. We will be recording, the whole show is recorded, so you will be able to come back later and watch the rest of the books that Sally talks about. And of course, that handouts list is available with all these titles on it as well. But here, you'll get to hear Sally's little book talk about all of them. So yeah, we'll finish up and go through all the titles that Sally has left. And then if you can't stick around, you can watch the recording later.
I forgot to mention at the beginning that I have read all of these books, like the one about the Alvarez men. I read that whole book. It's fascinating. If I read part of a book, I'll let you know that. Like nonfiction books, sometimes I don't read every single word, but I usually do. Okay, so here's Mr. Finsky. I guess that's how you pronounce his name. The narrator insists that the best book ever, this is the best book ever because kids love unicorns, dinosaurs, and a shark. Of course, so how can it not be good? But the characters do not put their hearts into the story and are rather ho-hum about the action. First off, sharks can't walk. Second, dinosaurs stomp and unicorns prance. So yeah, they aren't going to walk into a book. No. But when the narrator finally arrives on the page, it is a cute kitten wearing a rainbow t-shirt. The unicorn wants the rainbow t-shirt. The shark and the dinosaur want to eat the kitten. The shark dons a bib stating, "I heart feeding frenzies." The kitten runs, begging the reader to close the book, close the book. Yikes. It's wacky fun. This is the book that Michael Threets had recommended in last year's CSLP summer reading program session. Is Crunch the Shy Dinosaur. Crunch is a very shy dinosaur. The first 2-page spreads shows those many trees or bushes with only 2 eyeballs somewhere within the greenery. The narrator tells the listener to say hello. On this page, you can see its head and a bit of neck. But you were too loud, he hid again. You can see him hiding. Try singing Happy Birthday. He likes that song. And so the book continues, asking you, the reader, to do different things to make Crunch feel more welcome and not as shy. The listeners will enjoy interacting with Crunch and will also learn that some people and animals prefer some more quiet, gentle activities instead of loud, shouting ones. These are so fun. There's 2 of them. You have to practice saying this. Stegosaurus has 2 brothers who are regular stegosauruses and use simple words to describe things like good for food. Stegosaurus uses 3 synonyms for most everything. Food is delicious, scrumptious, and delectable. One day an Allosaurus jumps out and the brothers run away. Stegosaurus describes her as huge, scary, enormous. The Allosaurus responds with 3 synonyms of her own. She is an Allothosaurus. They have a lovely day together, enjoying everything around and using all their words that they have until Stegosaurus asks how Allothosaurus learned so many words. And she says she thinks it's because she once ate a Stegosaurus. Stegosaurus runs away to join his brothers again, no longer interested in big words from someone who might eat him. So there's a little lesson there. But I love that how she came up with Stegosaurus. And then there's Triceratops. That's hard to say too.
Wow.
The baby Triceratops always does the opposite of what his parents say. He wears them out. They say sleep. Triceratops says stay awake, and goes outside after they doze off. He encounters a sleeping baby T-Rex and crawls and jumps all over him. They exchange words. Rex, mean. Try, nice. Rex, leave. Try, stay. Rex, play. Try, fight. Just as they begin to play fight, the Tri's parents arrive, desperate to save their child. But when the parents shout, enemy, the baby Tri says, friend. And the T-Rex is quite touched. because apparently he's never had a friend before. So that's very fun. And of course, I'm sure you have some, if not all, of the Penelope Rex books by Ryan T. Higgins. This is the 4th book about Penelope, and all of these will work for the topic because she is a T-Rex. And in this one, her parents surprised her with a pet. It is a 500-pound pet with 6-inch canines, but still a pet. So she had some trouble handling that. Tobias's father is bold, loud, and forceful, but he loves his boy. Tobias leaves lots of posters around about the Elmwood Elementary Field Day around the house. He wants his father to attend, but he does have to work a lot. Field Day, the baseball game, is about to start when the Chicken Bone gang rode in on their bikes, making a racket, scaring the younger kids. There is a standoff about who will be the umpire, since the regular one has the flu. Then Tyrannosaurus Dad arrived, and he announced he would umpire. He made sure everything was completely fair. The game was called on account of rain, but Tyro Dad made a terrific canopy so all could enjoy the hot dogs and hamburgers. Family first, says Tyrannosaurus Dad. Some more nonfiction for younger readers. This is a level 1 for kids who are beginning to read on their own, it says at the back of the book. Good basic information, and each 2-page spread has either one illustration overlapping the spread or 2 or more illustrations highlighting the points being made on the pages. It is bound to catch eyes with that cover. Some fiction for novels for older readers. This is the Dino Riders series, book 6, The Wild West, where people ride dinosaurs instead of horses. Another one, different characters. The sheriff is out of town, so local crooked businessman Malachi Wilkes starts to build a railroad right through the center of town. Residents of Trihorn can either sell cheaply to him or get out of the way. Josh Sanders and his friends Abigail and Sam work to find a way to stop him. The Stegosauruses, the Welsh crew ride, are large, strong, and dumb. How can the crew be stopped? Well, they happen upon a Stegosaurus, and they befriend him and learn a few things. Book number 1 is How to Tame a Triceratops, and that came out in 2017. For all of the older books, when I checked, they were all still available, readily available on Amazon for one place. So I only keep things on the list that it appears you can purchase yourself if you don't have them. Nonfiction for readers grades 4 to 6. Just a few titles left. This is from that What Was or Who Was series. This is more about the geology of the Ice Age than the animals. There's only one chapter on the animals, and I'm an animal person, so that disappointed me, but it is fascinating information about the geology. And the last chapter does hit on global warming and becomes somewhat political, just so you know that. Rhinos in Nebraska, a wonderful book.
Yeah.
We're in Nebraska. Nebraska Ashfall Fossil Bed State Park is just outside Royal, Nebraska. This contains good scientific information, and it has a bit of a mystery to it. As School Library Journal states, Stevens provides fascinating insights in the techniques scientists use to reconstruct the ancient past. The writing is lively, clear, and somewhat conversational. It contains black and white drawings and photos to add information and interest. And the mystery is they found a place where a number of prehistoric rhinoceros bones were all stacked together. How did that happen? Why did they die there? And that is what they try to figure out, and what the book relates about how that was worked on and what they discovered. And the last book in this list is another What Was book. This is illustrated with frequent black and white drawings of dinosaurs, fossil hunting, and the geography of the time. It also includes 12 pages of black and white photographs of people, fossils, and displays of dinosaur skeletons. So a good basic overall look at dinosaurs. And thank you again.
Oh, that only 11:15, only about 10 minutes more than what you had. All right, thank you, Sally. Thank you, everyone. And I know Sally always does ask too if you all have any ideas or any books that you've read. Sally cannot read or get a hold of every single book that might have been published ever. And that's what's cute about this. This is books that would have been published at any time. So some of her, she can't read or get a hold of everything. So yeah, if you have any books that you know of, that would be great. Let her know so she can share them as well. And all right, so I am going to click on, no, not that. There we go. Bring presenter control to my screen to show you everything else here. All right, so thank you everybody for being with us. Thank you, Sally, for sharing titles for next year's summer reading. They're great, some fun things. I always say when Sally does her sessions here, I'm always taking notes, and I don't know if you saw, I went on my phone and I get ideas for my nieces and nephews for books to get for them whenever Sally does any of her shows. I've got new, what are they, from age 4 to 16. So I've got a big range of nieces and nephews to buy from, to buy for. So I'm always looking for Christmas and birthday gifts for them. So this always gives me good ideas for that. I know you're here to help libraries, select books, but I get a benefit out of it too. So, so this is the session show for today, the page for today's show. I did add, while you're talking, the link to the handout to this page. So it will be here as well for you. It will also appear when the recorded show, the archive show, goes up. If you use whatever is your search engine of choice and look up NCompass Live, you will find the page for our main show, our main page here with all of our upcoming shows and our archive shows. I told you I would show you where that is. Archive link is here right underneath all of our upcoming shows. The recording for today's show should be available by the end of the day tomorrow at the latest, as long as GoToWebinar and YouTube cooperate with me. Everyone who attended today's show and registered for today's show will get an email from me letting you know when it's ready. There will be a link to the recording on our YouTube channel, Sally's handout page, and Sally's slides too. So if you did want to look through her slides with all of the book covers there. All of those will be included there. We send out onto our mailing list as well. And we also have a Facebook page for NCompass Live. So if you like to use Facebook, give us a like over there. We do reminders. Here is a reminder to log into today's show, letting you know when announcing this week's show, and then when the recording is available, we post on here as well. We use the hashtag NCompLive, a little abbreviation for our show name, to on anything we post on here. The Library Commission also has a Facebook page and an Instagram page that we will promote about the show as well. So if you're out there on social media, look for us in those places. Oh, somebody does have a recommended book here. Oh, okay, cool. How to Excavate a Heart is a title that is good YA book about archaeology and paleontology. How to Excavate a Heart, featuring LGBTQ+ representation. It might be a good choice for older YA who still have an interest in archaeology and paleontology.
Thank you, that sounds good.
Good idea, yeah, thanks for the suggestion. All right. So this is our show archive page. You can, our most recent ones are at the top of the page here. You can search the page if you want to, search to see if there's anything that you are interested I'm going to show any topic you might be interested in. You can search the full show archives or just the most recent 12 months if you only want something very current. And that is because if you can see the little scroll bar here inside this, and I'm not going to scroll all the way down because as you can see, this is a huge list. This is all of the show archives for all of NCompass Live since we first premiered in January 2009. So we are just wrapping up in 2025, our 17th year of the show. And we have somewhere like 800 something recordings in here now. So do pay attention when you are watching any of our shows to the original broadcast dates of anything, when something was first broadcast. Some shows be great to watch, stand the test of time, have good useful information still, but some things will become old and outdated. Resources may change drastically or no longer exist. People will work in different places than when they presented for us. Links might be broken. So just do pay attention when you're watching any of our old shows. for that. But this is something libraries do. We keep things for historical purposes often, and as long as we have a place to host all of our show archives, which right now is the Nebraska Library Commission's YouTube channel, we will always have all of our archives up there for you to watch. All right, so here is our upcoming shows for the next couple of months. I see you already got shows going into January. Sally will be back with us twice. She does, I said she does some regular shows for us at the end of the year. She'll be back on December 17th to talk about another book talk like today, but the best new children's books that she discovered this year in 2025. And then on January 7th, best new teen reads of 2025. So if you are interested in either of those areas, you definitely sign up for those and join us for more of Sally's talks. And those lists as well go on that same handouts page. So if you want to, if you looked at that handouts page already, you'll see there's all the previous ones. They will all be there as well. So I hope you'll join us next week. It is the last Wednesday of the month, so that means it is Pretty Sweet Tech Day. The last Wednesday of the month is usually when our technology innovation librarian, Amanda Sweet, comes on the show, and she talks about anything techie related. We have shows other times of the month that are also tech, but you can always depend on Amanda to be here for the last Wednesday of the month. And next week, she'll be talking about the recent Internet Librarian Conference, which was held last month, which she didn't do a show last month because she was participating in Internet Librarian, but she's going to talk about all of the different cool things that she heard about at Internet Librarian. So if you want a little overview of that, please do join us for that show or sign up for any of our other upcoming shows. One other thing I want to mention that I forgot to get open here, another thing that we do here through the Nebraska Library Commission is the Big Talk from Small Libraries online conference. It is held online all day, the last Friday in February. It is coming up next year on February 27th, 2026, but the call for speakers is open right now. So if you are at we try to limit our presenters to libraries who have an FTE or population served of 10,000 or less. We are co-sponsored by the Association for Rural and Small Libraries, so we do this in conjunction with them. So if you are at a small library and you would like to present on Big Talk, submit a proposal. Proposals are open through December 12th. And if you want to know what this is all about, we have recordings of all of our previous conferences here as well. So you could watch any of our previous sessions and see how things were done here, who our previous speakers and the schedules were. So please do, if you are a small or rural library, or if you know of one, encourage them to submit a proposal. So that wraps it up for today's show. Thank you everyone for being here. Thank you, Sally. Good to have you on the show again.
I just have to say I've already downloaded How to Excavate a Heart onto my iPad because the library had a digital copy of it. So yay.
Oh, nice. There you go. Instant. See,
sorry to interrupt.
These recommendations are fast. Nice. All right. So hopefully we'll hear about that one. Yeah. All right. So thank you, everybody. And we'll see you back here, Sally, on December 17th next. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.